YouTube. You gotta know Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou and MZR2. Baby. Bye. So check it out. First time you come into the channel, it'd be highly appreciated if you subscribe, like, and share the channel with your family, friends, folks, peoples, buddies, pals, amigos, amigos, and like us Puertorriqueños, Boricuas, Jibaritos, Portorros, panas. You do that by first selecting the subscribe button, which is the black button on your bottom of the screen, uh, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, underneath whatever the picture is there. So you hit that, then you subscribe. Then you select the bell notification, and then you select all, and you'll be informed each and every time with an alert that something is dropped by this channel. If it's a pre-recorded video like this here, uh, shorts, like I just dropped like 3 shorts of the Bulls, or a live stream video. I should be going live sometime this week, maybe twice this week, but I got like 3 shows lined up for sure with other people, and then probably go once myself. And so at the point of me making this video, I haven't picked out a thumbnail yet, but this has got to do with the 3rd anniversary of the evacuation from Afghanistan, right? So we know what happened there. We know what happened, but we don't know what happened, why it happened that way. The way it was planned, and how it wasn't just the way it was planned that day. It was everything that happened leading up to that day. A lot of things have to be looked at, but nonetheless, we lost 13 military people that day, or we lost 13 Americans. I'm not sure if they were all military or not, but we lost 13 Americans. Plus, we lost some people. I'm pretty sure there's some were lost that were allies, with the Americans, Afghanis, perhaps. I'm pretty sure. It was all a bad debacle there, from the very planning. But, thing is this, is that, they want to come, the other side, the right wants to come make videos and, talk about how bad it was. And if he was in office, it wouldn't have been like that. Well, a lot of that planning was all done from them, right? A lot of that planning was done by, most of that planning was done by them, by Trump before he left office with the Taliban, right? On top of that, if you guys don't know, after Joe Biden was president-elect, it was announced that he won the election. Trump and Trump's people decided to not give them access to things that they're supposed to have access to, just like with every other administration going out and an administration coming in, which some would consider that part of the peaceful transfer of power as well. But money that's for the transition team of the next president coming in is supposed to have access to a lot of different things, which they were denied. So you figure if they won the election on November 5th, the beginning of November, okay, and they don't get sworn in until January 20th at around noon time, you're talking well over 2 months that their administration's coming in. We already know who the president and vice president is going to be, and we know who their transition teams are, but yet they're not being allowed to do anything. And so you can't tell me that didn't hurt. That didn't, that had to hurt some of the planning, going into things. But the biggest thing that gets me about all this is that how, and it happens on both sides, but it's more of a right side thing, because what they do is they try to politicize people's hurt, people's grief and loss. So, for example, the border, it's always used for political purposes only, because anybody's going to be honest and real about it. Excuse me. There's been a problem with the border for a long time, and that's not only just border security, but it's also immigration, path to citizenship. People that've been here for many years, that been here since they're toddlers, and now they're in their 50s and 60s, or even 40s, 30s. They don't know the other country that they were born at, right? They can't remember. They were so young, they don't remember anything about it. Some people fought in the military, our military, and weren't able and didn't get their citizenship yet or whatever for whatever reasons, right? Uh, but all this stuff is politicized and it's all used for political purposes. So this video uh, that I'm speaking of, Trump and his team went to Arlington to the military cemetery for a memorial for the 13 people. Yeah, the 13 soldiers that were killed in Afghanistan during the exiting, and they were told before it was prohibited, and they were told before the event started. I don't know if they were told in person before the event started or if it was through emails and phone calls or whatever, but they were told, and they were also and again told when they got there that it was prohibited for them to take pictures and videos because the fact that it's political. I mean, excuse me, it's federal property, right? So uh, it's called Title 32, Code Section 553.32, Section C, right? I'm gonna read it right quick. It's very simple. It's very just you know what I mean. It's very simple. So right here it says memorial services and ceremonies at Army National Military Cemeteries will not include partisan political activities. I mean, that's clear as day, right? I mean, I don't think you would need that to be explained to you. It's pretty straightforward. The cemeteries will not include partisan political activities. So here you are going there, and now you're going to say, "Oh yeah, because of these stupid people, you know, and this and that, they're dead or whatever." Um, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to do that. It's not right for one. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because um, if you guys don't remember, Trump is not in power, but yet still, he's not in power right now, obviously, but still, you can't be on federal property and do political activities, right? For political purposes, political gains, campaigns, so on and so forth. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because you guys remember in 2020, the Republican National Committee convention, excuse me, he did it on the property of the White House, which was not supposed to be done, right? It's not supposed to be done. Another example of it was just this past State of the Union. Marjorie Taylor Greene has on the "Make America Great Again" hat, and she had a Trump shirt on too, I think. And that's federal property. It's during a presidential election. You're not supposed to be doing that, right? But yet they're the ones that keep breaking the rules. It's something else, right? Now, the reason why it's for one is you don't know what those people the families to those people, you don't know what their political beliefs are, right? And it's a time that obviously they're grieving still. Even though it's 3 years, they can still be grieving, right? So I'm gonna read a couple of things, because what happened was it was said that people that work staff for the cemetery, that they end up getting into some type of physical altercation with the Trump campaign. Trump campaign's denying it and saying that if it continues to come out, that they got some footage or something like that. But I want to say that this is what his press Steve Chung, press secretary. Well, I don't know what his title is. He's the spokesman, Trump spokesman, Stephen Chung. He said, "We are prepared to release footage if such defamatory claims are made. The fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, and for whatever reason, an unnamed individual clearly suffering from a mental health episode decided to physically block members of the President Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony." I don't know why they keep saying the president. He's not the freaking president. You know what I'm saying? He's not the president. He's a former president. And yes, he may become the next president. He might be the president again. But currently, right now, he's not the president. You know what I'm saying? And so to say that this person had mental health episodes, I mean, your guys suffering from this every day. It's something else. So this is what some two two of the two of the deceased soldiers. This is what their family said. The president and his team conducted themselves with nothing but the utmost respect and dignity for our service members, especially our beloved children. We had given our approval for President Trump's official photographer and videographer to attend the event, ensuring these sacred moments of remembrance were respectfully captured so we can cherish these memories forever. You know, you got to respect the families, but at the same time, this is 2 families out of 13. Okay, at the same time, you got to respect the rules that are in place, right? Uh, I'm pretty sure that at some point, you know, and it was only, let me say that too. It was the restricted area. It was a restricted area, which is section 60 of the cemetery, where it wasn't permitted. I don't know why that place, only that place is not. But also, Chris Savidia added in a separate statement that the cemetery official was a disgrace and does not deserve to represent the hallowed grounds of Arlington National Cemetery. So here you go. You got this guy running his mouth, right? This guy, here we go. Like Trump, he tells everybody who should be shameful and who's a disgrace. But yet he's perfect. He's the best. He's the greatest. Now you got this guy who's behind the attacks of questioning Governor Tim Walz's service, right? He was the same asshole in 2004 with the attack on John Kerry for his service. I forgot what the name of it was. Something boat, sailboat, something, right? Which was, I mean, how are you going to say somebody's a disgrace, and here you are disgracing somebody that was a prisoner of war? You know what I'm saying? He was a prisoner of war, and you got no problem doing it. And I don't know if you were in the military or not. You know what I'm saying? But it's even more disgraceful if you were in the military, right? So I want to read something here. I want to read something. So the Hatch Act, like I was talking about. So the Hatch Act, right? I have 11 incidences that under Trump was let's see. Yeah, 11 incidences under Trump, right? During Obama, there was only 1, 2, 3, 4 under Obama, and it wasn't even Obama. It was some of it was senators and stuff. So in 17, right? Let's see. 2017, you had the October 2017, the OSC issued a warning to United States Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley over a June 17 tweet that she retweeted from President Trump endorsing Republican congressional candidate Ralph Norman, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like much on some of these things, but it still is. The thing is this. I mean, a lot of these things ain't much, right? You would think, oh, that's no biggie, which it ain't. It really isn't. But when it's the other way around, that's where the problem comes in. That's where the hypocrisy comes in. That's where it's not the same, right? And obviously, Trump is always graded on the curve. Let's see. In September 2018, the OSC issued a warning letter to Stephanie Grisham, the press secretary and communication director for the First Lady of the United States, for violating the act by including Trump's campaign slogan in a post on her government Twitter account. November 18th, the OSC ruled that 6 Trump administration officials violated the Hatch Act in posts to their government Twitter accounts, but declined to take disciplinary action. The OSC warned the officials Raj Shah, Deputy Press Secretary Jessica DoDo, Deputy Director of Communications Madeline Westerhout, Executive Assistant to the President Helen Aguirre Foray, former Director of Media Affairs Alyssa Farah, Press Secretary for the Vice President, and Jacob Wood, Deputy Communications Director of the Office of Management and Budget, that future infractions would be interpreted as willfully violations subject to further action. June 2019, the OSC sent letter to President Trump recommending that White House Counselor Kellyanne Conway be removed from federal service for repeatedly violating the Hatch Act. I remember seeing her one day in my prison cell. I was watching Meet the Press, or we only get so many channels, so it had to be either Meet the Press or This Week, ABC This Week, or yeah, it had to be one of those two. Where she was wearing, she had, I remember she had advertised something for Ivanka Trump's company. I think it was some shoes or something. Let me see what it says here. Having her removed from federal services for repeatedly violating the Hatch Act. This report follows the March 2018 OSC finding that Conway was a repeat offender for disparaging Democratic presidential candidates while in her official capacity during televised interviews and on social media. President Trump, when asked at a press conference, stated he thought the provision violated her free speech rights. See, that's the problem. See, they want to blur the lines when it comes to saying whatever you want to say at work, saying whatever you want to say, and doing whatever you want to do on federal property. Also, lying and saying that right wing is being censored on social media platforms when what all they were doing was trying to clean up the lies, the mis and disinformation. A point of view. If you just come out with a point of view, like your point of view, your opinion on something, that would be considered. I would be considered that somebody trying to shut somebody's First Amendment freedom of speech up. But if you're just on something and you're just blasting nonsense, straight lies that are really dangerous and scary to people, like if you're misquoting things about the corona and stuff like that, and you're failing to wear a mask and things like that purposely because you're saying it violates your rights, but yet all these people are getting sick. Or that's just an example. That's not the same. You know what I mean? In August 2020, Department of Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue supported the president's re-election by promoting the Farmers to Families food box program. Perdue was fined for violating the Hatch Act. August 2020, Trump announced that a result of what I just said, pandemic in the U.S. and the move of the 2020 Republican National Convention to largely online format, he would make his speech accepting the Republican Party nomination from the presidential election from the South Lawn of the White House. In response, the OSC sent a letter to President and Vice President are not covered by the terms of the Hatch Act. White House staffers are, and would therefore not be able to assist with such an address. Moreover, other portions of the convention included clips recorded at the White House, including an interview with freed hostages and a naturalization ceremony. While Republicans argued that the South Lawn forms part of the president's residence and therefore should not be classed as part of a federal building. See, that's bullshit because many people work in the West Wing. That's in the White House. But see, that's what they want to do. They always want to minimize stuff, make an excuse for stuff, whine about other stuff. It's not fair. Da, da, da. But then other people want to say, "Oh, he's a gangster." But yet he's steadily suing people. He's steadily dry snitching on TV. You know what I'm saying? You can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. See, legal experts point out that it's still illegal under the Hatch Act for any White House staffer to participate in executing a campaign photo op / video segment in the White House. This could also lead to investigation for staffers that may have aided Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, but not Pompeo himself in his convention activities as he delivered a speech while on official business in Jerusalem. As of mid-October 2020, 14 members of the Trump administration had been accused by citizens for responsibility and ethics in Washington of Hatch Act violations to promote the incumbent's re-election. By the beginning of November, it was up to 16. Senator Elizabeth Warren's staff released a report in which they counted more than 54 violations of the Hatch Act by 14 administration officials dating back to 2017, as well as nearly 100 additional pending investigations for alleged violations by 22 officials. On November 5th, 2020, the United States Special Counsel opened an investigation into the campaign's use of the White House for campaign purposes. In January 2021, emails from before the election were reported to feature a top Interior Department official instructing staff to reference the president's account in each post on a social media. So I brought that up because it just keeps happening, right? It's a pattern showing that this guy don't give a flying mother about any laws that's in place, right? Another thing, I can't even pronounce it right. Emolument clause, right? The title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or profit or trust under them shall be without the consent of the Congress, except of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever, from any any king, prince, or foreign state. Monument in simple terms: profit, salary, or fees from office or employment, compensation for services, tips are an emolument in addition to wages. Okay. Can a president profit from the presidency? Article 2, Section 1, Clause 7. The president shall, at stated times, receive for his services a compensation which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected, and he shall not receive within that period of time any other emolument from the United States or any of them. The reason why I bring that up, again, that's a monument clause, right? That's a law or an act, or I don't know exactly if it's an act or a law, but nonetheless, it's put in place for that people that run for president and become elected president and then eventually be sworn in as president doesn't do exactly what Donald Trump did, right? This guy was not supposed to control his business while he was in office. He was supposed to put it in either in a trust fund, some type of trust fund, or turn it over to family members that didn't work in the White House. So Ivanka couldn't run it, and her husband couldn't run it. So he could have signed it over to Don Jr. and Eric and let them run it. Problem is, he can't trust them because that's a problem he has up here, right? So he continued to make money, especially while he was president, for his Trump Towers, Washington D.C., right, where all the dignitaries that were coming to our country were all staying there. Where he's charging them $100 a towel, $50 for a cup, $25 each roll of toilet paper, $100 for each set of sheets and pillowcase, so on and so forth. It was said and reported that he made over $1.7 billion just from his hotel alone while he was president. Now, this is the thing that I don't understand how people can't see this. No other president's done this before, right? And we never really had a president like him come into power, but nonetheless, there was a reason why all this stuff was put in place, right? On top of that, he keeps saying that he loves America, but every chance he gets, he takes and takes and takes, right? He don't pay taxes, right? He pays less taxes. Some years he didn't pay no taxes. Other years he paid less, and he's a bragging billionaire that he's worth so much money, that he don't even pay taxes as much as a school teacher, a fireman, a police officer, a janitor, a car salesman, right? And then on top of that, these times he's running for president and during campaigns where he's doing rallies and stuff, where the local police department or local sheriff's department have to close roads and bring in extra officers to work overtime, or even do collabs with other close sheriff's department or nearby police departments to bring them in for security and do traffic control. And the Trump campaign is supposed to pay them for this, and yet they don't pay. And this has been reported from when he ran for president the first time. He continued it the second time, and now he's doing it again now. That's why, if you guys notice, a lot of his rallies are out in fields and stuff. They're not so much in locations no more, right? They're no longer in arenas or a lot of times. Before it was always indoors. Now they're out there outside. Why do you think that is? Because he will not pay what he's supposed to pay. So if he's already shows a pattern of this, what he's been doing for years, right? Ripping off the little guy who works for him, who renovates his buildings and his companies that he owns, right? Carpenters and sheetrock and plumbers and electricians and uh, guys that do siding and stucco, all these different guys that he just screws over. Michael Cohen said that he pays literally cents on the dollars when people owe him. When he owes somebody, say he owes them $20,000, he'll offer them literally hundreds of dollars, take it or leave it, basically. And he got a long pattern of this, just screwing over American people. But yet he loves America so much, and then he uses America. He uses the United States of America. He made $1.7 billion on top of his daughter every time they went to China, Japan, and China and Japan came here, as well as other places. She was given trademarks for her businesses there. What did they just do it out the kindness of their heart? You know what I mean? He can't be trusted. This dude's he's scum. He's garbage for this country, right? You know, like I said, he arranged that all that with Yemen. Not with Yemen. Excuse me. He arranged all that with the Taliban in exiting Afghanistan. Should people be upset about what happened and want to know more and question? Yeah, of course. Why not? Sure. You know what I mean? But they should also be questioning what did his administration do and what did they agree to and how how everything was going and why didn't they give the transition team their access like they were supposed to get, right? Also in that commercial, he says 18 months there was nobody dead, nobody died. That's a lie. He had well over 45 deaths in Afghanistan alone, and there was more than that, including Iraq. And so, it's like pick and choose with this guy. When he wants to pick and choose that is bad for him, that's bad because of him. I mean, it's bad because of who's in power now, and then other times it's good because he thinks he's coming into power, or they think he's coming into power. Anybody that would say that the stock market is doing well because they're expecting Trump's going to be back in a whole year and a half before time, a whole year before time, 6 months before time, now we're 3 months before time, the election, and they're going to be doing all that because they expect he's going to be back in there. You know what I'm saying? It's ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention that when he was president, he promised there was going to be a 6% GDP growth. He never even hit 3%. He never even hit 3%. The stock market is up over 50 points than when he ran it, or excuse me, than when he was in power. The economy's doing better. Everything's doing better. What everybody's forgetting about is that we came out of a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. A once-in-a-lifetime pandemic that he helped with his shitty leadership to run us in the dirt, right? Of course, it wasn't his fault about the pandemic, but he could have led a lot better than he did. And by him lying to all of us, saying that, it's just going to go away, when he knew how deadly it was because he admitted it on tape. Like I always say, all these things that he's in trouble for is because his big fucking mouth that he can't never shut it up because he likes to brag about himself so much. You know what I'm saying? He told Bob Woodward on tape that he knew how deadly it was. But yet he told all of us, no big deal, it's just going to go away. You know what I'm saying? And so for these people to forget and give this dude some type of, we trust the economy with him. And how? I mean, what's wrong with you? We were not even working. We didn't even have freaking toilet paper back then. You know what I'm saying? This freaking fan's blowing right in my face. I'm all clogged up now. So anyways, I want to stop this video. I'm already in 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be a lot faster than that, but obviously not. It's a lot of stuff to explain, and then I know there's a few points that I didn't explain firmly, great, as good as I wanted to. But for the most part, I put it out there. And people don't be, you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take Fox News word for it. And I suggest you don't. MSNBC, I suggest you don't take their word for it. CNN either. Not Newsmax, not none of these other guys when it's obvious they're one-sided. Do the research yourself. Look into things yourself and see. And you can weed through the stuff that's obviously biased and obviously bullshit. It's real easy. It's not really that hard. Of course, when you start getting numbers and all that, but you got to take into consideration where it's coming from, where the source, where these numbers coming from, because uh, these numbers have been getting toyed with really bad over these last so many years, where it's a lot of lying going on. You know what I'm saying? And it's real easy to get to the bottom of stuff, and you can do it. Just got to look it up yourself. You know, you can start off by googling it, and then get some information from names and sources that way, and then look at things further. Um, you can look up old articles, stuff like that, even court filings. A lot of the court filings you can find online too. And if not, you might have to pay or look into certain sites. You might have to become a member of a certain site, website, or something like that. But it's very possible to just look into things for yourself and stop taking people's word for stuff. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, Big Lou tapping out.